All right, so today's video, we have a Masters 4 support on PS5 playing Kiriko. The comment here says, hey, so I finally reached Masters last season, and Juno has been my main. Kiriko was usually my second choice for support, but the game does not seem to be very fond of me on this hero. It never has been. I'm a GM Juno, but my Kiriko is ranked gold. I don't know how much hero rank reflects how good you play or not, but I seem to not win at many games as her, as my win rate is pretty low with her. One thing I'll say about Hero SR is that I wouldn't directly say that it is 100% accurate on stuff. Because the system is so new, it just needs a lot of time and like play time to kind of flesh out to where you'll be. So I'm not going to say that maybe you're GM Kiriko based off of this, but I'm going to assume that your Kiriko is not gold. I've started to get a little bit more DPS heavy on her, as I've used to be more of a heal body type of support. During the last round of this match, my tank did comment support Diff in chat. I disagree, but looking at the scoreboard, I guess you could think that. Overall, I want to learn how I can be better at Kiriko, know what I could have done better, and any other general tips for being in Masters now. Also, not spoiling anything, but the ending was unbelievable. Love your content, and thank you lots. All right, okay, here we go. Some good old Kiriko. Doop. Yep. And Route 66 is a little bit harder to like set up on an angle. It's one of those, you're kind of doing the right thing going high ground here, I'd say. Okay. Actually, I'm not even mad about this so far. This is the correct decision, I think. Yep, good job. Wonderfully played. Yeah, I mean, that was a great scenario, situation. You played Kiriko kind of how you would want to. The Kiriko mentioned they think can be very heal body. So normally what you might see happen is a Kiriko gets stuck here and just heals the whole time. So to be able to go into the back line with a Wrecking Ball and be able to like make that type of play is really good. The idea of setting up angles on Route 66 is like, how do you create an angle, right? You either go this way, but honestly, like if they're up here, it's really hard to play. Like those angles, if you go up this way, it's good, but if they deny this space, you don't get anything going. So I love that play of just basically forcing them all back here by just teleporting into the back line. So very clean start. Okay. Hey, this is right, because you're going to go to their back line. Maybe your timing's slightly off here, so I will say just try to keep the pressure going there for a little bit longer. Like after you killed them all, like go up there and just start poking again, because that can get some cooldowns out. But I think that's probably where you made a bit of a mistake there. It's like you wanted to play hide and seek, but at that point I didn't think hide and seek was going to be the correct play. And by the time you went to go for a shot, they were already gone. So you missed your timing, and then now your team's all dead. Now, the team's not dead because of you, but you could have put more pressure on them, so that way your team had more time to set up. TP over. This is perfect. You're going to avoid the angle on the Mei. There's no reason to engage the Mei top left. You can just get the distance and then hit your shots then. I see what you're aiming for here. This one may be a little bit too ambitious, but it could work. As long as you use your movement, you're good. Nice job. Definitely play more aggro. I'm loving the aggression with the Wrecking Ball. The reason why that play would have been a little bit more ambitious is just because you're committing all your cooldowns right in front of them. But reminder, Kiriko can wall climb. I know that's most people know, but just like with heroes like Hazard, sometimes you forget you can wall climb, right? Oh, the wall climb is really strong. But as you can tell, that's not an issue for this Kiriko. Good minds by your ball. Great position. Everything so far has been pretty solid. I guess this, right there, I mean, just obviously use your cooldowns. Like, this is one of these situations where, like, if you just, like, cleanse yourself and TP out or TP away or wall climb, you're fine. Just make sure to hit your buttons. One thing on Kiriko is, like, don't let your cooldowns go unused, or do what I do. Use your cooldowns and then realize that the game didn't register it at the same time. So, like, you go to cleanse, but then you still fall over. Also, thus far, I want to point out, and I think anybody watching this will probably say the same thing. Does this look like a gold Kiriko to you, chat, with the way that this Kiriko's playing? Point I'm making is here. As you can tell, Hero SR isn't necessarily 100% accurate. You could save your team. Yep, they go, and then go into the... Perfect. Just want to show people this tip on Kiriko. It's a very basic one. Most Kirikos know this, but not everybody. See the fox that went this way? That is where the ultimate goes, right? Point I'm making here, it was good that the Kiriko aimed to the left, because if the Kiriko aimed even remotely here, the fox would have ran into the back of the cart and the ultimate would have stopped right here. So the point I'm making here is, remember, when you're on Kiriko, always try to put your ultimate in a spot for max distance. Many times, if you even do it, like if you throw it into a wall, you're just gonna it goes like 2 feet and you get no value. Sometimes it's like unlucky timing, but just want to point that out for anybody who's learning Kiriko or finds that you're not getting full value with ultimate. Sometimes that is a good way to max distance it. So far, so good. Yeah, been pretty clean outside of like a little bit of lack of cooldown usages. This has been a hard one so far to be able to really give you any like intense feedback, because I think for the most part you're doing things right. You know, we'll see though. This is a longer game, so like what you're doing now might change over time, or what you're doing doesn't work as much. Yeah, it was a good game, Dirt. I agree. It was awesome. All right, here we go. You can try to be a little bit more aggressive with your angle there, but I understand why. Yeah, I mean, I think you're playing exactly the way you want to play Kiriko here. Very DPS heavy. That's, you know, not getting the cleanse there. I mean, I probably would have went for the same cleanse and missed the same cleanse, so I get it. Yeah, I mean, you've been doing a great job with how you're supposed to do this thus far. Again, I also want to point something out here, because I think there's going to be some discussion where people are like, well, why does the Kiriko not have to heal right now? And this one's an easy one for me, and I'll show you why. Second of all, it's kind of, I don't know if ironic is the best way to explain this, but I'm about to talk about how the lifeweaver here, named No Heals, is going to be able to keep your team alive during this. But in this situation, when I see the lifeweaver, I look at this as an opportunity for the lifeweaver to be really more of that main support. Lifeweaver is kind of that way nowadays in general. What I'm making, in this situation, in a game where it's lifeweaver, you can basically know that your lifeweaver will keep your teammates alive, which gives you more opportunity to go into backline and become more of a DPS, right? You become more of that like hybrid DPS. Now, let's say it was Kiriko Lucio, that's where you'd have to balance it more, right? One easy way to like do that is just be like, hey, does my other support have the capability of keeping a team alive basically on their own? If so, what hero is it? If it's like a hero like Lifeweaver, probably won't have to help as much. If it's a hero like Ana is interesting because Ana can do really well on single target, but you might need to help a little bit on other stuff. So it just basically the point I'm making is you look at the support line you have and then base it off of that. Going for long range angles here. You can't really take top left, so you're not going to feed in. A little bit of a note. Don't be afraid to wall climb a May wall there if you want to get to your teammate. I'm fine with this backline aggression. Nice job. You're going in. The cover is there because of your teammate having the mines there, so you have a little bit of extra like cover than you would. I would play to shift out. Slight mistake there. Once you got into that duel with the Cassidy, one of the worst things you can do is try to out-duel the Cassidy in a numbers advantage. So sometimes like you would go for that 1v1 if it's like an even team fight and you need to make a play. But in that situation, you have the numbers already. I'd rather see you play to live that and then come back to the team. Again, you escape out, but can you see where that'd be a risky play if you fall over right there? So I just want you to kind of be in a mindset of being a little bit more careful when you get the numbers advantage. I don't want you to stray away from playing aggressive. I just want you to be willing to disengage out of your aggression quicker. Okay. I understand why you cleansed that. Obviously, in hindsight, you could have saved it, but it's hindsight. All right. During this, okay. I want to see how this team fight goes for a second. Okay, this is perfect. I want to show people something because I think actually this team has played it pretty much how you want to do it. Chad, how often do you play a rank game and they'll pop, like the team will pop an ultimate and the first reaction by your team is to run at the ultimate and just keep the team fight going? Listen, if you have high ground control and map control, it is okay to wait this ultimate out. I think a lot of mistakes people will make sometimes, including myself, is the feel that you need to just go in there and constantly be engaged in a team fight. But when that brick pops the ultimate, it is totally okay just to play the outside. Like look at the Ashe Kiriko, right? You're the Kiriko. Perfect. Lifeweaver stays up here. Wrecking Ball can play a little bit around there because he can get pulled away. But do you see how you're controlling the map and not just trying to like force the cart? Just think of that sometimes. If you hear an ultimate, like a Brig ultimate, for example, that can be pretty hard to deal with sometimes if like they're all stacked and like they're not taking a lot of damage. Just keep the map control, because then that Brig ult's going to fall down. They're going to want to play around the Brig ult, and now they're done with their ult, and your team has all this map control. So this is very well played, but I also want to show this to people, because I think sometimes people will forcefully go to the cart a little bit too much when an ultimate's happening, and being able to know when to disengage out like that can be super good. Now you can pop your ultimate. Yep, then you can TP top left to the Wrecking Ball. Perfect. Oh, no. Honestly, that was unlucky. You had the right idea. It's just your teammate walked in front of you at the same time. You can't do much. I don't mind that cleanse. I'll explain that in a second. Basically, I think in those situations, just keeping everybody alive is so key. Now, obviously, your teammate died right after, but you basically saw three low targets. It's worth it. So, not a bad half out of you. I mean, overall, like, that was on a gold Kiriko. that you played. I think you had a lot of good decisions. I showed you a couple moments, but so far so good. And see how your defense goes. Remember, you can play defense like you play attack. I would actually recommend you start with some angles. Now, chat, this is what we just talked about. There is a Kiriko Zen now. So does this mean that there's a world where Kiriko would play at the same DPS heavy comp now? The answer, in my opinion, is probably no. Because the Zenyatta now will not have the same heals at all as your previous comp, right? So now you have to go into more of like that kind of like split in between of more healing than you did before. But now you have a Zenyatta, like I said, in comparison to a lifeweaver, so now you have to adjust your playstyle. I will say it's okay sometimes if like your first team fight, you don't recognize that. You ever notice that in rank sometimes? Like you'll have like a really good attack or like a really good play. Everything is going well, and then someone switches up to a different hero, and then it just breaks the team comp, and like it just plays differently. I'm not saying this is quite what happens here with the lifeweaver Zen, but like it is a different play style. Like you have to play it differently. So we'll see. I don't think it's a bad comp. I think with having an Ashe, having a Sojourn, I think it's fine. Honestly, I actually think your Orisa could have stayed on Wrecking Ball. At least with the first team fight, it would have been a great team comp, right? There's no really easy target. Your teammates can benefit from a Discord. That was just a good rock. Obviously, you could have been there to maybe react quicker, but I don't think that would have made a huge difference. I think that was just a good play by the other team. Yep. Now your team's getting isolated out already. This is just a. Your team didn't really know what to do after you lost your first DPS, and now you all staggered out. It's crazy because this is like night and day from the first half, so got to learn to play a little bit better on that one. Really what you want to do in that situation, when I say playing a little bit better, the moment you lose your Sojourn up on the high ground, you have two options. You either trade out and get a kill. You go, but yeah, but what if it becomes a 4v3? Like, we get a trade. That trade will be more impactful when your team comes back from here. Do you get what I'm saying? You hear the concept of trades all the time and maybe go, okay, if I'm playing Overwatch, it's always good to trade. Not quite the case, right? You don't want to go 20 and 20 if you're trading every single team fight. But in this situation, when you lose your teammate right away, the two options you have is either trade or disengage immediately and get to a much better spot, because you're going to lose that. Like, if you're right here, I would say you trade. It's really hard to back up here because if you don't have the mobility and your teammates didn't have it at that time. So I would have liked to see you go up here and try to trade a kill or two with your team. Again, you're probably going to lose that overall team fight, but by the time that the cart gets to here, they're going to be running back, and all your teammates from here have more opportunities. So that's how you kind of balance that mindset of like when you should trade or back up. Either way, though, your team did the in-between of that, which was basically nothing, and then you just got snowballed right away. Not snowballed, but you lost the team fight right away. This retake, you got to be careful with. Your Ryan's already out there without you, so your Ryan will fall over if you... Oh, yep, you've been distracted. Good backline pressure. Truthfully, you got to keep your Ryan alive there. So let me kind of explain what happened here. When the Zenyatta is in the back here and the Venture's going for him, like, yes, I see the vision you have. Unfortunately, your Ryan needs your help here. So what you actually wanted to do here was keep your Ryan alive as long as you possibly could to give your teammates time to be able to get some kills. Because, like, you're playing to retake the point. Again, it sucks because I think, like, it's good that you killed the Venture on your Zenyatta, but you have to make that quick decision. It's one of those not fun plays, but anyway, there goes your Zen. I see you're flanking behind. Yeah, this is just your team's getting snowballed. Your team hasn't, like, settled yet. But I do think that should have been a much better approach that you did on that one. So, all right, here we go. It's time. That was just... that cleanse right there, I mean, that was... I see what you're doing. Okay, back on Lifeweaver. Now you can go back to the other playstyle. More off-angle-y, more damage, because now you have that Lifeweaver again, right? You can rely on your Lifeweaver. Hopefully, with that name, I don't know if they're going to be healing, but you at least have the opportunity to make a play. This one I'm okay with. I see what you're doing here. Yeah, a little bit of a thing, health pack awareness. I think once you got them low, I want you to think more about backing up to the health pack here. It's not hacked. I think this health pack here is what you want to play for. It feels like you didn't play for that health pack, and that was a bit of a mistake. I actually think going up there was fine. In that situation, the first thing I'm thinking about is backing up to the health pack, because I know they're going to try to push me. That health pack could be the difference between you winning that team fight. You had a Venture to 1 HP and a Somber taking a duel on you. That's how those Kirikos light up the kill feed. Oh, yep. I saw you were trying to TP again. You're getting rolled by that. Okay, so first of all, I hate to break it to your tank, because you said your tank at the end of the game said like support diff. If you're the supports right there, can you heal that Winston at all? The last 3 team fights, has there been any way to be able to heal that Winston? Like, that Winston can sit there and be like, hey, like, why aren't you healing me? It's because you're just a step ahead of everybody. Even though this is a Kiriko review, if you're a tank player, I'm telling you, the importance of waiting on your teammates is very key. I'm not saying to just sit at a doorway and wait for everybody all the time. If you can establish map control safely, I'm okay with that. Let me give you an example. You're on Winston, right? Do you jump over here to the cart while the cart's here and you're waiting on your team if you're trying to take map control and just run into 5 of them? No, right? What you do is you come out of here as spawn as Winston, you jump up here, and then now your teammates have time. They're distracted, and there's a good chance you probably can get back to the cart again. Instead, because there hasn't been a good reset and your Winston keeps going in, everybody's always a step behind. You see what I'm saying? Where like if you're that tank in that situation where you're just assuming your supports are going, I don't want to heal you. No, I actually think in this situation, the Winston has been really aggressive and hasn't given the team time to reset. And then if the tank keeps doing that, it's hard for the Kiriko to make that decision. So a lot of the time your decision is going to be teleport and cleanse, and that gets both these kills from it. So again, it's not purely on the tank, but I'm just showing a situation where the tank is not reset properly. That's on you. I would not try to face tank a Venture ultimate right in front of you. So, all right, here we go. Kitsune, perfect, just out of range. Remember, a little bit of a note. I'm sure some people know this. You can cleanse the hack. So if for some reason, there's a bunch of people in front of you and you want to cleanse it, you can, especially if you don't get hacked. Just a little bit of a note. You can TP after, just to... But looks like your teammates survived this. That cleanse felt a little bit ambitious, but I think I know why you did it. You just didn't want to fall over. I get it. I'm not gonna judge that one. I probably would do the same half the time. So, okay, your team is finally settled. Everything's settled now. The best thing you can do as a team now is work together, settle. Don't overfeed this. Your Winston has ultimates. So you don't have to worry about your Winston as much here, because your Winston should be playing for that ultimate, not for just like face tank. All right. Again, I see you getting aggressive up here on the high ground. Totally fine. They're playing more of a low ground team. So you're fine. Yep. You're feeling, okay. I want to talk about this very quickly. If your Winston has ultimate, I think your Winston needs to rely purely on the ultimate here more than you going to save them. If your Winston doesn't have ultimate there and they're getting low, I see it, but your Winston has ult. If your Winston doesn't hit the ultimate button, that's on your Winston. I would actually keep that position and up on the high ground over here to really add an extra angle, rather than go back into TP to him. But this goes back to earlier, chat. Remember when I said that if you as a tank keep running in without your teammates over and over again, what's going to happen next is your support is going to feel like you have to make those plays, right? Because so far, all you've seen is your tank fall over to that. Winston should ult that, so, I wouldn't worry too much there in the back line. There's the ult, see what I mean? Like, your Winston was going to ult no matter what. Waited. Yep. Good spy check-in. That spy check-in is just where if a Somber's nearby, just doing random damage. Maybe you hit a shot on him. You never know. Even doing like a little bit of damage can be super helpful. Acts the health pack on you. You went into the team, but I think that's okay because your team's playing really aggro. Don't be afraid to use your wall climb around this area. You can get up to the high ground. Everything seems to be working out though. Your Winston's playing too aggro. Not too aggro, but too like Reinhardt. Yep. Now you're going to go into your Winston in the back line. That would be the correct play. You pretty much made the correct play there. There was a lot happening. Reaper's really low. No health back there. Nothing you can do about that. Staying with your team for now. Just like everything's settled. DPing with your Winston. Make sure to wall climb up somewhere in a second so you don't get stuck on this low ground. If you do, you end up getting hooked. I didn't even know there was a hog or not. But the point I'm making is that you don't need to be on the low ground at that situation. You're not playing Reinhardt, where like your tank isn't playing Rein. There's no reason for you to be there. Teleport in, good cleanse, Kitsune. I would concentrate on keeping your Malgo alive for now. Okay, never mind. Now just do damage. Maybe look for your Reaper. Yep, you're doing fine. You've made. Yeah, if you feel like you got 2 heal body here, I actually wouldn't be worried about that. I think that you needed to settle anyway. So, like, I think that's fine. You had the numbers, you had your teammates there. So, not bad. You've lost contain. Your team needs to get, yeah. They took top right on you, so, like, I would look for the opportunity to get on the high ground somewhere. Sil, sticks with the tier 1. Thank you. Okay. Uh-oh. High ground again. I feel like you forgot about the high ground for a while now. Don't be afraid to go up just a little bit. Take those angles. I'm telling you, it will help a ton. Okay. Top right. It's been a good defense, though. it is. All right, you're good. Oh, I can't believe no one killed the Venture during that. Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, let's talk about this. In my opinion, you shouldn't lose this team fight. And I'm gonna explain why. You have 2 of them down, your team has map control, and the only thing that you can do here that would be a mistake is just slamming it to the point here. Look how much time there is between the cart and here. Get the numbers advantage, surround them, you win the team fight. Of course, there's a world where you could still lose this team fight. There's an opportunity, but like the mistake your team would make here to lose this would be just running to the point because you feel like you have to. You have time. We'll see what happens. So rather than wait on the team and keep the map control, your team runs it down mid to the cart. Again, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of ultimates, but that was not the deciding factor. Your team just ran it down mid to the cart in a 4v3. They had someone coming back, but you would have had a little bit of an advantage. So in that situation, just you gotta be a little bit patient and just recognize that you're gonna soon be able to get to that point, no problem. Like you have time. And in overtime, every kill you get on them, they're not gonna spawn up quickly. So you have the opportunity there. I don't mind this aggressive angle. Wow, your sim is up there. Oh, this is not. Okay, so playing close is fine, but the way that the team was playing close was not the way. Yeah, the Symmetra was ahead of the Roadhog. The Roadhog didn't know if they wanted to be there. They became really indecisive. You weren't sure what angle you should be at. Truthfully, I don't even know if you should be on the left side there. Like, why not be over here somewhere right now when you're up on this, like, close play? Like, when you're here, you're just giving yourself this sight line. That's it. This is the only thing you got right here. You basically have given yourself no opportunity. Even if you try to peek here, do you see what I'm saying? It's not bad. It's not amazing either. So you can go up here. More vision, more space to see stuff, more opportunity to get like that suzu over the top of the cart, or the top of the shield, excuse me. So, I'm gonna TP. Yep, this is fine. Good job. All right. Yeah, I know I had to cleanse that. I hate having to see the cleanse be used there, but that's just positioning. All right, nothing's really happening. Yep. Your Ash is on low ground, so is that it? Ooh, be careful of that TP. Yeah, we'll see if it works. Maybe you get the kills. Nice kill. Cleanse. This is like the 3rd time I've seen you get really, like, if you cleanse that, you TP out and it's a 3v3. Or yeah, I think it'd be a 3v3. Because like, you can TP over to your Ash or even your Hog for a second. If you TP to your Hog, you can disengage this way for a health pack and play to live. If you TP to your Ash, you have a health pack here and you have survivability. Instead, you don't hit your button. So it's like the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen you do that. So I just want you to be careful of that because that is a make or break situation right there. Now it's overtime spawns. Overtime spawns are much longer. Not much longer, but they're a huge difference. There's a bomb by your teammate. Good TP for now. Gotta have to cleanse if you need to. Yep. Which, again, it's just a tough retake anyway. I think your team, honestly, kind of ended up in an okay spot there with just getting ultimates out. But you can get EMP, so I would play around that. I mean, okay, so you have a world here. So chat, what would be a viable option here on how to play this when you know they have EMP? I have an idea of what could work, and there's 2 ways to go about it. A pleasure. And again, it would require a little bit of teamwork. When you know when EMP is coming up. Let's pause for a second. 2 ways to go about this, in my opinion, in ranked. Again, OWCS, different approach because of how you have to do stuff. But in ranked, this can be very straightforward on how to deal with this. 1, 2 heroes here can win this team fight. One of you has to make this decision. It's either Symmetra or the Kiriko. What has to happen is one of you needs to hide. Your Symmetra hides, waits for the EMP that will come, and then uses wall after the EMP. You go, why not lead off of the wall? If you don't know, EMP can get rid of Sim wall. Or B, you hide, your teammates will get EMP'd, you TP in, you cleanse the EMP. Either way, do you see where I'm saying? And then your Sim can wall. So there's some options here, but we'll see what your team decides to do. Free kill. EMP time. Okay. See, you made the mistake. If your Sim walls that, you know they're going to EMP it. So the mistake you make here is going in to try to do something right after that wall. You might still be fine because of the early pick on the Venture, but my point I'm making here is you have the opportunity to not get EMP'd here and save this. That's why I wanted to show that, okay? Yeah. Okay, you're new, you mean it? No worries. Good Kitsune. Here's the cleanse. Good kill. You might just win purely off of ultimates here. But, yeah. There you go. Team ends up winning it anyway. Just give you a bunch of ults, but hopefully, hopefully people are able to learn from that scenario I kind of showed there, because I think that's a really helpful one to look at. All right, on to the last few minutes of this game and see what happens. I know why you're cleansing that. I'll let that one be. Chat, problem I'm already seeing is not really playing that angle like before. Ooh. Save your... You got to cleanse your teammate there. Your teammate was at a spot where they could be like self-sustained if you just get that cleanse off. So like, again, I think one issue that you can pick up on is your cleanses. You either send them or you don't. And I know that sounds kind of like a weird way to describe it, but like, I'll watch you like cleanse like in so many moments, but then like the moment you need to like save your teammate, you like get so hesitant on using it, and then you never use it, your teammate dies, and now a team fight that in my opinion should already be won by your team has now resulted in a team fight win for the blue team. Now keep in mind, that wasn't on any specific role there, that was a team effort, right? But I definitely think you should have cleansed your mantra. This is not a bad idea. Yep, that was just a disengage cleanse. I get why. I always give this tip to people. If you are a little bit more hesitant on using your cleanse, like you like to use it for more important situations, if you hold your swift step key, it will go to somebody. Let's say that you're here and you want to just like hold your swift step and turn around, it will go to the target. So like say you like, it's just like you're right here and you flip your mouse this way, it will go right to the lifeweaver if you're holding the button down. So when you get in those like situations, it's like, and you know your next step is the swift step and you want to get some extra damage out or like be in a spot, hold the button down and then you'll end up with your teammates. Then what else seen the Kiriko use their climb? Yes. I think they've stopped using it as much now, but yeah, that is obviously a good point. But we kind of look at that earlier. There's the EMP. Honestly, it's kind of good they use their ults like that. Now your team's being a little bit aggressive with, okay, yep, ult domino, classic. Right, he just mashes on, I think, PS5. DP, there you go. Yep. How's the rest of your team? Yep. See, this is what happened, and I already know what happened in this game. You played all like perfectly on the first attack, but the second time this attack came around, you're kind of indecisive. It's like you want to do the same things, but they've changed the way they play. At no point have I seen you try to do something like this. Go up here. They're all set up on low ground, right? Think about this. Their whole team has been like sitting around here. Go up here. Now look at this. If they don't turn around, you get free kills and free damage. If they do turn around, your teammates over here now get value. But at no point, you've just been going here. We're doing like the same play, but it hasn't been working, so you have to readjust your play style. Nice shot on the Sombra though, so it worked out. Okay, you flanked, and it worked, so hey, listen. Wasn't how I would have drawn up the play, but it's working. Remember your cleanse. Remember your cleanse. Okay. Your teammate thrives it, you end up cleansing, you're good. And then now a Mei on point. There you go, nice. All right, now you have a Kitsune. I mean, they have an EMP though. Thankfully, it looks like they want to run to the cart one by one. Huge pick by your Mei. I mean, this is just going to be... Oh, no. Is your team going to get EMP'd and everybody's going to run off the cart because they get EMP'd? Remember, you have to hide. You have to hide during EMP here. You can Kitsune this and hide. Oh, it's going to be an EMP. I already know it. Oh, try not to get EMP'd. Now you're stuck on cart. Oh, and it's a C9. There you go. Yep. Honestly, that was just a good play by Sigma. I don't have anything else to say. Obviously, you should cleanse yourself or try to like disrupt the play early or like, you know, swift step as there's a couple things you could do. But at the same time, listen, I think it's okay sometimes just look at that and be like, Sigma made a good play. I do think you didn't use your cooldowns correctly there, so I think that could have made a difference for sure. But that's kind of the story of this game for you. You just got to work on your cooldown usage. I definitely think at a certain point you strayed away from like map control. So I want you to think about the first half of this game and the second half of this game and recognize that like you can play the same way. You just got to make the right adjustments. I think that's where you'll be fine. To your question of like, you know, are you a gold Kiriko because of your SR here? No, you are far from a gold Kiriko on your hero SR. That just shows you that hero SR takes a little bit to get to where it needs to be. I don't think this was really a support diff. In fact, this is one of those games where I feel like this was a team effort. I think everybody had their moments. For every cooldown you missed, remember second point on your first defense where, you know, tank kept going in doing the same thing. So everybody on your team had some moments that were good, bad, it happens. But you played well. Work on those things and you'll see a climb. You got this. You absolutely got this. You like the video? Hit the like button. Subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. Leave a comment, all that helps. Want to submit one? My Discord is where to do that. And if you like these videos, you can see a video pop up here in the bottom. Click it. It's a good one. That being said, hope you have an amazing day / night.